Hello everyone! 6.4 is just around the corner with a new MSQ, so it is the perfect time to have a quick refresher about the story of 6.1 to 6.3 in preparation for our next chapter. So our story started with the end of an era. The Scions have disbanded, at least to the world, and have become a secret organization once more, with Tatro using our headquarters as a base of operation for a new clothing store. And this is where our new adventure starts. We remember the words of Emersel's urging us to go explore the bounty's undersea ruins. So we meet with Tatru to get some advice on where we should start, as he is our resident expert information gatherer. He naturally tells us to go to a tavern, so we end up at the Miraid's Mayen in Rasatan, where we meet Professor Jalin. After we buy him a drink, he tells us the legend of Al-Sadal III, where apparently a famous satrap forged an alliance with a dragon, and at one point returned from an adventure to another world with wondrous riches. And this treasure is apparently meant to be undersea in a secret place only accessible from one of the islands of the bounty. After this, we do manage to obtain a map from a shady merchant, which is supposed to indicate where this treasure is. We also come across Estinian buying the same map, and we end up calling Grahatia to join us on adventure because, well, I think we're all traumatized after the end of Endwalker. And we as well call for Yistola, as she is searching for ways to travel across the realms, and as we are talking about a satrap who somehow managed to travel to another world, this might interest her. So as a group we travel beneath the bounty into the dungeon of Al-Sadal's legacy, where we find not just treasure, but a planar fissure leading to the 13th, or the Void as it's more commonly known as. Now it turns out Vitra knew about the fissure. In fact, he had this whole elaborate security system crafted to keep the people away from it. The security system we just trashed on our way in here. It turns out that when the Allegan Empire tried to invade Miracidia, they tore open the Void to do so. During this time, Vitra's elder sister Astaya charged into the Void Drift and was never seen again. But now she's trapped on the other side, and there is no way to get her back or even know if she's still alive. We decide this is not something we can accept, so along with our friends, we start researching a way to extend the fissure so we can travel to the 13th and hopefully find Astaya. Meanwhile, on the 13th, we get our first glimpse of a dark knight, which we later learn is Golbez. He is sitting on a throne, speaking to the 4 archfiends, each one connected to a single element, and the group is speaking about their plan to start a war and redeem their star. And that is where patch 6.2 starts. We finally have found a way to get into the Void, and Vitra decides to join us in a new body. This one is more fit for fighting, and also more reasonable size to actually get through the portal, as the portal cannot accommodate a full-grown dragon. Together we head into the Void, entering the dungeon, the Fell Court of Troya. Traveling through the dungeon, we end up chasing away this area's master, and we face the first archfiend, Scarmillion. As we defeat him, we attempt to communicate with the Voidsent of the castle until we come across no other than the Voidsent once bound to Xenos. This person will later get the name Zero, so I will use that from now on. Zero explains how the life in the Void works. Apparently if you die there, you don't get combined again with the life stream. So there is no actual permanent death in the Void. So life here is basically an endless existence of suffering, hunger, and either attempting to eat other Void beings to become more powerful, or hide so you don't get eaten. And even when a Void being is eaten, they kinda just fuse with the one who ate them, and when they eventually are killed and kinda shatter apart, you will apparently end up becoming yourself again at some point. It is an endless cycle, and the people here are understandably not very happy. Zero tells us that this world was once normal, but it fell to darkness, and Zero is actually unique, as she is not a Voidsent but an half one, as she was still in her mother's womb when the change happened. But as we learned, Voidsent don't die, so Scarmillion is not dead, and he actually comes and attacks us again. This time Zero does help us, and it turns out she has the ability to change Void beings into crystals, which is as close to death as they can find in this realm. As we touch the crystal, we see a vision of Golbez with the 4 archfiend, all in the presence of what seems to be a dragon, and we believe this is Astaya. Wanting more answers, it's decided that we can't really stay in Troya, so we go with Zero to her own area of the 13th, where she has several void beings under her protection. We also learn that in the void, everything is done in sort of trades. Nobody gives anything for free, be it information or assistance. So for Zero to help us, we also have to give Zero ether. And as we're learning about the void, a new domain just kind of shows up beside Zero's domain. This belongs to Barbaricia, the archfiend of wind. We end up having to fight her, and while we do defeat her, with Zero's help, she is so exhausted that she collapses after the fight. It turns out she is simply out of ether. So what we decide to do is actually take her to the source, which is abundant with ether, and therefore she should hopefully recover quicker. So we take her to Ratsatan. She does recover and wake up, and we start introducing her to our world, taking her on a tour of the city and feeding her some apples, which she finds quite interesting that we have to eat to get our ether. And with this we get to patch 6.3. Zero has recovered, so we are planning to go back to the void. But just as we're talking about it, Vitra kinda comes just running through the castle in his dragon form, going outside and roaring to the sky. He claims he can sense his sister somewhere in the north. So we change our plans and head to Karlemald instead. There we meet with the Levier twins and Julius, and we learn that there is some increased void sighting in the area. So we assist with some patrols, trying to keep the people safe, and while we're there, Zero tries out different kind of food, and keeps on talking to the people of the source, making her seem to change her mind that everything has to be transactional, as he does end up actually helping people by her own choice. But with the amount of void sand we are finding in the region, it is clear there is a void gate somewhere. So we end up traveling up to the mountain to the village of Lapis Manales, which was the homes of Reapers in the past. This village is long abandoned, but as we travel through it and below it, we do find a void gate below ground, and Cagnasos, the archfiend of water. He is here, fully physically, so we don't have to turn him into a crystal, but instead we just kill him. And after we kill him, we close the gate. As Astaya is not here, so we head back to Ratsatan, where we see a pillar of light coming up from where our void portal is. As we go explore it, we learn that a fiend burst out of the flames, heading up to Katka, the big rock formation over the sea. We manage to make our way up there, and we find there the final archfiend, which is Rubicante, the archfiend of fire. We face him in the instance Mount Ordeal and take him down. And through this fight, we do learn that Golbez intends to invade the source, so the people of the void can be granted true death and return to the livestream. And Rubicante tells us that if we want to find Astaya and Golbez, we're gonna have to go to the moon of the 13th. And that is where that patch ended, as we have to find a new way into the void and, well, to the moon of the 13th, so we can finally save Astaya. And this is where patch 6.4 is gonna start, and I hope you're gonna have a lot of fun with the story. If you like videos like this or deeper Final Fantasy lore videos, make sure to subscribe and press the notification bell and interact with the video, because that always makes me really happy. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lot of fun in patch 6.4.